Hi everybody. I just wanted to do a short video to wish everybody a happy new year and a prosperous 2019, regardless of who you are, whether you're a Brexiter, whether you're a Remainer, whether you're undecided. I hope 2019 is a brilliant year for you all. I also wanted to predict what's going to happen in the next few months with regards to Brexit. Now, I think what we're going to witness in January, February and March is a whipping up of hysteria. There's going to be, everyone's going to up the ante to try and put as much pressure on their opposing sides as they possibly can. And I think you're already witnessing this with regards to the so-called migrant crisis in the English Channel. Now, it's not a crisis. What it is there's some migrants, but it's being whipped up into a crisis, or being implied that it's a crisis by people like Sajid Javid, who's cancelled his holiday to try and manage this crisis, in order to try to project that into the public discourse, because it serves their purpose with regards to Brexit. Now, you're going to see a lot more of this. This is Project Fear. The so-called migrant crisis is an example of Project Fear. And my argument is the whole Brexit debate from the Brexit side was Project Fear, because it was all about whipping up fear with regards to immigration, with regards to the costs to our country of immigration. So that was the real Project Fear. And that Project Fear has been around for, 40 years, and it's kind of like managed to get itself into the public psyche. And this so-called migrant crisis now really serves the Brexiters' purpose, because it's perfect timing for them. And you're going to see a lot more of this. You're also going to see a lot more of the promises, the so-called guarantees that the Brexiters gave to people prior to the referendum falling by the wayside. And you can see a prime example of this in the fact that EU citizens are now being advised to register with the Home Office and pay for settled status. Now, this is a total break with what was promised to the European Union citizens prior to the Brexit referendum. They were promised explicitly, time and time again, that nothing would change. But as is so often the case with Brexit, those promises are worth nothing. How many promises have been broken? There was the implication that there would be more money to the NHS. That was a lie. There was the promise that it would cut immigration. Well, that's going to not be the case. The so-called slashing of red tape, again, a lie. The easiest deal in history, a lie. They need us more than we need them, a lie. The whole basis of Brexit is built on lies, just sheer lies. And of course, some of the proponents of Brexit, they simply want to just get across the line in March. People like Michael Gove, they see this as a journey that if they can just get past the March deadline, then they're home and dry. Other people like Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg, they want the country to plunge into the catastrophe that would be crashing out with no deal onto WTO rules, because that way they can then try and absolve themselves from the lies that they made prior to us leaving the European Union by saying, oh yeah, everybody's going through all these hardships, and look at the evil, bad European Union people, making us have a shortage of medicine, when in actual fact everybody said that this was going to happen. So you can see how people are starting to position themselves now. Going back to Sajid Javid, he's clearly also using the migrant crisis as an opportunity to position himself for the future leadership contest of the Conservative Party, which is inevitably going to come up soon. So you've got to try and cut through all of this crap to see what's actually happening. Now, So what is going to happen? Well, I think Theresa May's deal is definitely going to be rejected. When it comes to a vote in Parliament, it's definitely going to be rejected. What Theresa May is trying to do is she's trying to push it closer and closer to the March deadline, to squeeze the opportunity for MPs to get out of this by voting Theresa May's deal down, because most MPs, most sensible MPs, which is the majority of MPs, know that crashing out of WTO rules would be catastrophic for the country. So it's not an option. It's not going to happen. And Theresa May knows this. But she can only do this for so long. And I don't think that she will be able to postpone the vote again now that it's been set for the middle of January. I think that's really when the vote is going to happen. And it will be rejected by Parliament. She'll put it back to Parliament again, and it will be rejected again. And then, due to Dominic Reeves' amendment, Parliament will then take control and try and decide the best course of action for the future. Now, Theresa May's plan would have worked had it not been for the ECJ's ruling that we can unilaterally revoke Article 50. That one ruling is a get out of jail free card as far as MPs are concerned, and that one ruling probably pushed the likelihood of another referendum ahead of all the other likely outcomes for the future, simply because there is no majority in Parliament for any one single course. Okay, so there's no majority in Parliament for crashing out, obviously. There's no majority in Parliament for a Norway-style deal. There's no majority in Parliament for a Canada plus Super Canada, I don't know, whatever it's called. There's no majority for any of these options that are out there. So I think Article 50 will be extended. I don't think there's any way that cannot happen. And because Parliament is representing the people, now bearing in mind that the population of the United Kingdom are split down the middle, that said, it's looking more and more, poll after poll after poll now are saying that more people want to remain in the European Union than they do leave. Anyway, Parliament, although it's being, parliamentarians are being called traitors, are being said that they're defying the will of the people. Well, in actual fact, they're representing the will of the people, because the way there's a deadlock in Parliament, it's the same as there's a deadlock in the general public. And so it's working perfectly in a weird way. So the impasse is a true representation of the British population with regards to Brexit, which is why Parliament, I think, are going to have to put this back to the people. So I think as I said, I think there will be an extension to Article 50. I think that's inevitable, and I think following that there will be a referendum. That's my prediction. We'll see. So much can change, obviously, in such a short period of time. But I've been saying this now for months and months and months, and nothing has changed my mind. If anything, it's made me, as the weeks have gone by, it's made me think this is more and more likely. I just cannot see another way out of this. So prepare yourself for the hysteria. Prepare yourself for the whipping up of scare stories with regards to immigrants, with regards to the cost to the NHS, blah, 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 blah. All the things that were disproven or have been disproven over the past couple of years that the Leave campaign said during their campaign. They're gonna double down again on those things, and we just need to be prepared for that, and we need to counter it with facts, because the facts are out there. Anybody that wants to can find the information that proves these are lies. There are lies being said by Brexit proponents, but you've got to want to, and that's the point, because Brexit now it has become almost like a religion, and it's almost, to some people, it's almost become a thing that supersedes everything, even democracy. Because people claim, as I said before, people claim that a second referendum would be undemocratic, which is ridiculous. But so what they're actually saying is they don't want another vote because they might lose their beloved Brexit. The only problem is none of them can agree what Brexit is. And so my argument is, well, you cannot thwart the will of the people by gauging the will of the people. The only way you can thwart the will of the people is by refusing the people a say. And that is what Brexit proponents are now doing. And that is why I would argue they are being undemocratic. Given that we're in this impasse, there is no majority for any way forward. And I would just, one last thing, I just want to remind people that still say Brexit is the will of the people. The referendum result was so close, but here's the thing: the people that voted Remain voted for the status quo, so they voted for one thing. People that voted for Brexit voted for many, many different things. And if you broke that demographic that voted for Brexit down into their different parts that supported different types of Brexit, then Remain would be the absolute overwhelming majority of the population. So there is no majority for any kind of Brexit in this country. The only majority in that sense is for Remain. So please remember that. What's my advice? Keep putting pressure on your MPs. If you agree with me, then keep putting pressure on your MPs. Keep emailing them, keep writing them. There's so many people out there that are working so hard to try and prevent Brexit, because I think that's what we need to do. We need to stop this. This is a terrible mistake. People make mistakes. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is people need to admit it. And this is what we've got to do. We've got to remind people that this isn't the best way to go. Anyway, that's my prediction. Carnage for the next few months. An extension to Article 50, ultimately resulting in a people's vote with an option to remain. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you have a great time, and speak to you soon. Take care.